Good Friday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. It is a somber Friday after storms that rolled through the area. We believe there have been some fatalities. I don't have the latest information, but I do believe it is connected to Morgan County around Deer Lodge. That is where a possible tornado, multiple tornadoes may have occurred last night. I don't have all the intel, but I do know that we've had some fatalities, and that, of course, makes us pause. I hope it does during the course of today, because many of us will go back last night and say, well, I live in whatever city, I live in whatever county. It wasn't that bad. And that's oftentimes the experience that people have, right? It's everything or nothing. You either had a lot of damage or maybe you had nothing. And in some cases, a loss of life, a family member. Did you think when you went to bed last night that somebody in East Tennessee would have lost their life due to weather? It is tragic, no matter how you slice it. So I just wanted to put that in the tone, at least in what we're doing today. I was on the air for 2 hours and 20 minutes last night. But today I'm only going to be on about 15, 20 minutes. I want to cover all the things you need to know for the upcoming weekend. Visibility is not much of an issue, but temperatures are warm. They're at 48 in Knoxville right now. It is 45 in Morristown, 39 in Jamestown, and 41 in Crossville. The National Weather Service, just to be fair as I come back on camera for a second, they indicated that several homes were damaged in the Deer Lodge area. Perhaps you may have heard this maybe in other news outlets, but the Deer Lodge area, this happened about 8:18 last night. 8:18 last night. If you go back to my live stream, you can take the slider bar, you can scrub it back to that time, and roughly we were talking about Deer Lodge as one of the communities that could have been affected. Law enforcement noted that several homes had been damaged. This is from the National Weather Service in Morristown in their damage report, preliminary, and there were reports of fatalities, but the number is unknown. This was, again, came out at 1:19 this morning. So we got a 1:19 a.m. report of fatalities reports, but the number is unknown at this time. Possible tornado. Clearly, this is where the damage surveys are done by the Weather Service. We'll get more information from them. But please, again, just think about how grateful. I mean, I kept saying, hey, this is one of those situations. This should be a wake-up call that we all need. And it's not just me. It's everybody that has to have a safe place, for family, to being in the basement, all those drills, like, oh, I did this for no reason. You do it for a reason. You need to let these storms pass, because every storm system is different. I could preach on that for quite some time, but I do want to get to your comments. It is 49 in Newport right now, 50 in Athens here on a Friday morning, the 7th of February. Hard to believe. Where did the time go? I'm looking at certain comments that might be populating into my system, but if you have a report, we'd love to see it. Fred is on here. Fred's got a note. He's got 48 degrees and breezy in Maryville. Thank you, Fred. Good Friday morning to you. Wanda Poe says that was a very bad storm and there was a lot of hail here in Newport. Yeah, we talked about hail possibilities. Certainly looked more popular in pink in some of those areas in Cock County last night. So thank you, Wanda, for that update. As far as our time right now is 6:44. I've got a lot of ground to cover, but I can tell you the dew points have come down. The rocket fuel, we're in the low 60s. Now, a dew point temperature may not mean much to you. For some people, they glaze over. I mentioned dew point temperatures to some people, and it's just like means nothing to me. Think of it as the temperature at which water vapor condenses. When it's in the 60s, it's pretty sticky, right? It's humid. And we were in the 60s last night, which enabled some of these storms to have quite a bit of longevity. They had some legs. They came in all the way from the plateau all the way to Cock County during the course of last evening. But they've dropped from 60 plus to 22. It is much drier this morning, and we won't have clearly as much issues. Good to get some drizzle today, but I think hazy sun and clouds will cover it. No wind gust at the moment, but we have a north wind at 14. That's a McGee-Tyson observation. And clearly winds might be less than 10 where you are. I'm seeing 6 there in Wartburg, and of course a little gusty there in the Smokies. The winds will be a factor again tomorrow afternoon, but when you look at the radar now, all the activity seems like it's exited the premises. But where you see some Jackson, Memphis green dots, I'm looking at Memphis, Shelby County, just north of Huntsville as well. That's some of the drizzle that might enter into the picture during the course of your Friday. I don't expect much. 61 already occurred at 1:10 in the morning, so check a box. Yeah, we'll be lucky to get back to 58 this afternoon. But we've already hit our high. Our high temperature, I mean, 61, 58, we're talking about 3 degrees difference. It's not much different, but you may not get out of the upper 50s in Knoxville later this afternoon, as we're currently in the upper 40s at the moment. Temperatures will struggle. today to get above 51 in Oneida. The ultimate Doppler radar, which got a workout last night. Clearly not much to see at this particular time, but the ultimate Doppler radar is showing all of that activity over the last 8 hours or so. Pretty amazing. The lightning strikes were part of the story. Hail was part of the story. And, of course, the wind, power outages, all the rest. But all that energy has now left the area. Marcos.com, if you're looking for a place to eat for lunch, or maybe you want to order in tonight. Maybe you've had a long week and you're looking to decompress. They do give back to East Tennessee Children's Hospital. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. They're in Hardin Valley, Farragut. They're in Maryville, Fountain City Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer Road. Got a magnificent pizza for less than $10. You gotta love Marco's Pizza. I love the fact that they're community oriented. They think about others, and this is what one of the ways that they do this. They do other things as well, but I love the fact that they do have pizza that they give back percentages wise back to our local community. They also have a Pizzoli, which is kind of like a calzone if a guest. You could think of that, but they have 4 varieties for less than $6. If you want to check it out for lunch, they would love to see or hear from you on Marcos.com. By the way, temperatures right now 48, very mild. Normal low is 30. So we're still about, we're still 18 degrees above normal in the wake of all those storms. 50 is a current temperature in Asheville. It's 50 in Memphis, but 34 wintry-like in Lexington, Kentucky. Now, when I mentioned the winds on Saturday, they will be a little bothersome. I've got us around 40 mile an hour gusts tomorrow. You're going to say, oh, no, not again. Yeah, we're going to have some gusty winds, but we'll be near record warmth. That's the key. Temperatures tomorrow will make a run towards 74. The record high is 75 from 1937. This has been on the books for only 88 years. That's all. Just 88 years for the 8th. Is that tomorrow? Tomorrow is the 8th of February. We're on track to be really close to a record high tomorrow. And the thing that could drive it to that high, lofty level would be the winds. And you can see it doesn't look that bad early morning on Saturday morning, but look at the colors. Look at the colors. Looky, look. It's getting windy tomorrow morning at 10:30 Eastern in Memphis. It sure is. Near 40. There's 38. And it looks like that's going to come right into Knoxville for Saturday afternoon. So look at that. Bowling Green, 44 miles an hour, potentially gusts. Lexington, 42, and 32 in Knoxville. I think before the day is through, we'll see wind gusts probably closer to 40 plus, particularly on hilltops. So the winds are coming back to a neighborhood near you tomorrow afternoon, so be prepared. Sunrise this morning, 7:31. Sunsets at 6:10. That's where we're going to be. I think a good blend of hazy sun and clouds. And the bus stop, as kids head off to school, if there hasn't been maybe some downed trees, be extra careful as you drive through school zones, always. And, of course, that's always wise. But temperatures should be around 55 between, say, 2 and 3:30 for a very popular pickup time if moms and dads are, in fact, picking up kids at multiple school locations. Radar shows that activity that we had just hours ago exiting the area. We had flash flood warnings. That's what those burgundy areas. And I tried to indicate at the end of my live stream last night the difference between the red, the flashing is the tornado warning. The color usage the Weather Service typically uses is the burgundy for flash flood. So at first glance, when you have both happening at the same time, it can be a little confusing. But when you click on it, hopefully on the app, it gives you some clarity. But I did post those descriptions, the flash flood warning that came in from the Knox County area and the one that affected areas into Jefferson County as well. So there were some areas that did get hit very hard with the flooding of over 2 or 3 inches in some cases. It was pretty extreme. The heavy rain also a factor from last night's particular storms. We look at this system now. What do we have here? We got a winter storm watch. They had ice. Didn't they just have an ice storm warning around Altoona, Pennsylvania? They did. And now they're bracing for more snow. So, I mean, it's like the winter weather is continuing on. The battle is still on, but it's just not here. The battlefield is to our north at the present time as winter continues on in purple. Those are the winter weather advisories that you see there. Not a whole lot to see here. A couple of showers in Atlanta. We highlighted a few sprinkles around Huntsville that we could see some drizzle before the day is through, and some foggy areas still persisting across parts of Florida and the deep south. I'm going to move my lightning strikes over here. And one of the things I want to check is your comments. If you have a note, a question, a concern, I would love to hear what you have to say. Fred says, thoughts and prayers for Morgan County. Everyone have a safe and blessed weekend. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Fred. I know that loss of life it weighs heavily on all weather people, but you don't have to be in the weather community when these happen, everybody should be mindful that the power of Mother Nature is extreme sometimes, and you have to be prepared as best you can. Storms like last night can stay away. Prayers for everyone. Thank you, Wanda Poe. And I got some insight from Judy Kerr. She says, at my location, it was like the storm split around me, and I had 0.0 inches of rain and only a 28-mile-an-hour gust. Prayers for everyone. See, that's one of the amazing things. You know, it's kind of like you say, if I go to the beach, this might be a good analogy or bad analogy, you tell me. But if I go to the beach, am I going to get wet? Well, I don't know. Are you going to stay in the parking lot? Are you going to stay on the fringe of the beach? Or are you going to be where the waves are breaking? Or are you going to be out in the middle of the ocean with your boogie board? That depends on how wet you are. Am I going to get hit by a storm? What about me, boss? What about me? What about 10 Mile? What about Talbot? What about this? I get all these questions, and they're good questions. But sometimes we're not clairvoyant to know. We have a preheated oven, and sometimes you get these storms, and it can rip houses and roofs off, and in some cases, if not closely paid attention to, yes, even loss of life. It is a sad fact, but that is true. In the case of some cases in Deer Lodge, we'll get more information there, and if we had other damage reports, those too will be trickling in, I know, from the Weather Service this morning and into the afternoon. Now, we did pick up 0.43 at the airport. This is all this is showing. This is showing where our records date back to 1871. We had a 36-mile-an-hour gust at the airport. That was it. Some of us had much stronger winds. Clearly, if you were in the path of these tornado warnings, you had ferocious winds that would have even doubled or tripled that in some cases. So lots of concern from last night, but all that has settled down for now. I got to show you, I'd mentioned the winds come back Saturday afternoon. That's key. But what might not be catching your eyes, what's going to happen on Tuesday? I know that's a few days away from now, but I'm going to jump ahead to Tuesday with my future rainfall, because by the time we get through the weekend, we are going to have some rain Saturday night, and we're going to get some rain, I think, on Tuesday, but it's going to pick up particularly for the Tuesday afternoon drive. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's get the clock moving. There it is, 7 a.m. Tuesday. Yeah, we get a few showers, but the afternoon suddenly it gets, whoa, suddenly it goes from like a half inch to maybe 2 inches. And if I carry this further, the drive home on Tuesday could be dealing with this. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. And there's some consistency now that we're probably in that 1 to 3 inch rainfall just on Tuesday afternoon. So it will turn heavy. So we got concerns for gusty winds tomorrow afternoon. That's Saturday. And then on Tuesday, we have this to look forward to. Given the fact that we're under a drought, this would be beneficial rain, but nobody wants it all at once. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. It is 6:54. Here are my headlines. I hope to be done here at the top of the hour. Hazy, sunny clouds, and drizzle today. Maybe a few stray showers later tonight as another warm front lifts to our north to Kentucky. That means gusty winds will develop tomorrow afternoon around 40 plus, and we'll have near record warmth on Saturday. Again, temperatures on Saturday around 74. The record high is 75. So I want to just double check with you. Other notes today. The record high today is 77. It was set back in 2019, I guess during the Trump's first administration, but Ronald Reagan, 1984, record low temperature 3 degrees. So we've been as cold as 3 on the 7th of February, and we've been as warm as 77, but given the fact it's been in the 70s, it seems like for the last couple of days, now we're going to say, yeah, temperatures will be lucky to get to 58 this afternoon, daytime temperature, because we've already hit 61. I show you my winter weather outlook headlines for a reason, because we've now moved into that stage, which is really my first bullet point. I posted this, by the way, at the end of October. October 28th, I said more warm spells than cold spells should be expected. And now that we've been in a warm spell for much of February, that may very well play out, but it will come back. The cold air will come back. I mentioned a fast start, a cold start to December, and expect a few surprises, which we saw in the snow category in the deep south. Pensacola, Baton Rouge, for example, has had more snow than Knoxville. But when you look at the toasty warm November we had right up until about, say, Thanksgiving, there are a couple of cold days there, but we had a record high on the 7th of November. All those blue squares came back on December 1st through the 7th, so we had a fast start with meteorological winter and picked up our first measurable snow at 0.7 on the 11th. Then January actually finished 6 degrees below normal. That doesn't sound like that, but when you look at all 31 days, highs and lows, do you factor in it? 6 degrees, that's a big deal. It was one of the coldest, some would say, since around the country since '88 or 1994. It depends on the data set that you look at. But January was exceedingly cold, but now look at where we are. We don't even have a below average day in February. So some people have declared winter's gone. It's not coming back. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. And I did say that they made that a correction. Wednesday was high officially was, they first said it was 70, and then they modified it. So Wednesday was noted as 72, but yesterday was 70. So what have we had now? 4 days? 4 days at 70 or higher. Yeah, it's been pretty remarkable, but that is going to be coming to an end today, and then it'll come back tomorrow. We'll be back near record warmth Saturday. So the futurecast, the current temperatures, kind of give way to what's going to come in the future, and that's the cold air. I'm looking at Bismarck at 5, Billings at 7. These are current readings. Now moving to 8 as we get closer to the 7 o'clock reading. So very cold air in purple will be coming back to a neighborhood near you. Wind chills up there are -6, -15. And the natural tendency is to say, well, I don't live up there, David, but some of that weather comes down here. Wouldn't you want to know about it? If that's where it's headed, take a look at some of these clock movements. All that warm air in Knoxville sticks around for a while, but it's really as we move toward Valentine's Day and particularly Washington's birthday, President's Day, the 17th, I believe is when things start to turn a corner. There it is. So now by Valentine's Day, it's shiver me timbers, it's cold, and then all of a sudden it gets even colder by the time we move into the 16th. That's pretty cold. How about the 16th, 10 at night? So the very cold air, single digits in purple, could be as far south as, say, West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, and it may very well be pretty bone-chilling cold here with snow potential. We have the potential for more snow, and that takes you through the 17th. So hopefully that gives you some visual evidence that cold air will come back. It is 6:58. Here's my Valley Planner. Hazy, sunny clouds, drizzle possible today. We have already hit 61. We hit 61 as late as 1:10 in the morning, according to the McGee-Tyson Airport numbers and records. So 61 will go in the books for today, but I think we have a good chance of getting back to the upper 50s by 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. Precipitation chances spike Saturday night, especially late, and then another round as we go into Tuesday. It could be off the chart Tuesday afternoon in terms of the intensity of that rainfall. Storm Prediction Center, thankfully, not showing as much color on this map as it did yesterday. The Storm Prediction Center was calling some audibles yesterday. They added some of the yellow, slight risk for our area, late in the afternoon, and we tried to indicate that possibility was there. And then while Saturday might have some thunderstorms in Kentucky, Nashville, and perhaps the plateau areas well north of toward Wartburg and La Follette might have some thunderstorms on Saturday. And risk on Sunday is pretty much absent. So we're severe free and thunder free across the entire country, it appears, on Sunday. So here's your futurecast. We talked about a little bit of drizzle that would be dragging its heels into town like so. There it is right around, say, Columbia. Tries to move into town later this afternoon, especially south of Interstate 40. But then we move into tonight. There's a chance for some rain as that front comes across our region and into Kentucky. And then we'll set the stage for, I think, a few showers. They'll have to 30% by day Saturday, but 80% at night. So what you see on this image would represent the 80% chance that we get some rain, mainly showers, on Saturday night, but it'll exit pretty early on Sunday. So it's not a complete washout type of weekend, but it will be very unsettled heading into next week, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I see a lot of rain. We may, knock on wood, may make up for some lost time. So 61 was the high. Daytime temperature will peak, I think, around 58. Look for hazy, sunny clouds, drizzle possible, winds 5 to 10. It's now 7 o'clock straight up. 63, my expectation for Newport. You may have already achieved that number, and maybe you're just 2 degrees or 3 degrees cooler this afternoon. It's going to kind of flatline a little bit, but temperatures will top off around 46 for Paducah, 74 for Atlanta, and only 45 for Lexington in Fayette County, Kentucky. Tonight we're down to 47. Patches of fog, yes, will be possible. Partly to mostly cloudy skies with some stray showers that develop along the frontal boundary, the warm front. But temperatures down about 46 tonight. White Pine, Talbot, Morristown, 44 for La Follette, 45 for Kingston. Those are my expectations for lows tonight. Again, normal lows 30, 31, so we're exceedingly warm yet again. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville and East Tennessee. 74 on Saturday, 59 on Sunday, and the coolest morning really isn't that cool. What is it? Monday morning at 41, Tuesday morning 42. I think it's going to take us the time. It's going to take us to Valentine's Day and into Veterans Day, Valentine's Day and President's Day, the 17th, before you start to say, yeah, winter seems like it's coming back. Yeah, it'll come back. You just got to give it a little more extra time. If you've got a comment, let me know. I've been kind of rambling on a lot of information here. I did get a little note, a nice note from Diane Ladyhawk, says we must keep Morgan County in our thoughts today. I definitely believe you are correct. And Diane, I know you have connections to Morgan County, although you're in Maryville, but it is a tough morning, no doubt. She is pointing that out. Pete is on here. Pete says Snow Dragon will be ready just in case. He's wondering how quickly could we have some measurable snow. It's a possibility, or could we get more of a mix? Could we get snow and rain, sleet, freezing rain? That's never a good combination for us, or anyone for that matter. Good morning, David, says Danny. Hope you have a wonderful Friday and weekend. Go Vols, Lady Vols. And Alice is here. She says, good morning, prayers for Morgan County. I think that's a very, very good thing to note, is the prayers are certainly going to be needed. Let's come back on camera for a second. I'm wearing my green tie again. I wore it earlier the week, but I know this being Super Bowl Sunday, and I know that we've just had some fatalities due to weather last night. I want you to have a great time. I'm not here to preach. I just want you to be thoughtful, mindful that our neighbors are hurting. Some of us are hurting. Some didn't have any problem. And that's okay. If you didn't have any problems, that's good. But if there's a takeaway, it's that when storms, you get these alerts, that everybody take them seriously because there is sometimes an unknown factor. I'm wearing my green tie because I'm an Eagles fan. I was born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware. Normally I wear my orange Vols tie on a Friday when there's a game. But because it's Super Bowl Sunday, and because my Eagles lost to this very team, the Chiefs, in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, I'm going to root my team on. So just do it. I'm hoping they win. I hope they win resoundingly with Mr. Barkley. He's their dynamo. He's the dynamite running back for the Eagles. So cheer them on. Even if you're not a football fan, you might just watch the Super Bowl for the commercials. Anyway, maybe. We'll see. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.